In today's video, we're going to be exploring the method that, out of all the methods I've learnt so far doing BetFair football trading, it is the one which has the least risk involved. You will still lose money if it doesn't go to plan, but you will lose the least amount of money we've saw on any of these so far, which is a brilliant addition, especially if you're only just getting into it. But before we get started, if you are new to the channel, please be sure just to go down there and hit that subscribe button because it makes the world of difference. And while you're down there, just head into the comment section and let me know what video you want to see next on this channel. We've got a few recommendations coming through now, which is great to see. Really helps me figure out what you guys actually want to see in the upcoming videos. So we've got a few planned for the next few weeks. But if you want to know what type of things to recommend, honestly, anything, as long as it's revolving around making money online, then go ahead and let me know. Because if you are new to the channel, if you've just came for this video and you don't know what we do here, literally all we do is we test all the theories that everyone puts on YouTube. Someone will put on YouTube saying this is the way to make £1,000,000. We'll try it, see if it actually works, or see if they're just using their YouTube video to get money from YouTube instead of actually teaching you how to make money yourself. So all we do is we try out all our methods and see if they actually work. But today we're continuing our little segment on football trading. So today's trade is all around the under 3.5 goals. Some of you, if you're familiar with betting for football, might be aware of the under 2.5 goals method. It is one we're going to cover in a few weeks, so don't worry if you're not aware of it. But that one, essentially, you're looking for kind of the similar things with this one as well. You want it to be a game where it's predicted that there is going to be a lot of goals, but neither of the teams normally score or concede in roughly the first 10-15 minutes. And that's where you're going to make the money. All the other ones we've done on this channel so far have mainly been second half. This one is right at the start, before the game's even started. You're going to want there to be no goals for the first 10 minutes, and that's where you're going to make your profit. So let's get a bit more into the specifics. The reason we're doing under 3.5, instead of under 2.5, is with the under 2.5 strategy, you will make a bit more money, but when a goal goes in, if a goal goes in that first 10 minutes, you will lose 30, 40, 50% of your initial deposit down. So it's quite a big risk, like all the other strategies we've done. Whereas with the under 3.5 goals strategy, with a method I'm going to teach you a bit later in the video, you can reduce that loss down to about 10%. And to only lose 10% of your stake if it goes wrong is actually incredible. Because on the other ones, the other methods, when they've been going wrong for me, because I have continued to do them, when they go wrong, you lose around about 60-70% of your stake. So to only lose 10% is actually really good. But with that in mind, you might only lose 10%, but when the whole process actually works, you do only look to aim to get between 10 and 15% profit. So it's the lowest risk, but it's also the lowest reward strategy. But I think that balances out quite nicely. So if you're new to doing these strategies, this one is the perfect one for you to start with. So you can see on the page behind me then, this is the example we're using today. So it's from the Blackpool-Plymouth game. You can see we're on the under 3.5 section. And what you're going to want to do is you actually want the back odds to be around 1.6 to 2.0. If they're not like that, as long as they're roughly around them guidelines, like I always say, these are guidelines. You don't have to follow them, but this is the way people have perfected it over the last few years to try and maximise the most amount of profit. You can see here I did this with 1.45 because it was the only game on that day that looked as though it would be worthwhile doing with this method. All the others looked like they could have an early goal in them. So I initially just went for this one. I put my £10 stake in and then we waited. But all you want to do is you're only going to be lasting this for about 10 minutes. So you want to hold your stake in this game till about the 10th minute, until either you have made your 10% profit or until it is literally the 10th minute in the game. And then you're going to want to cash out. So if we go forward just a few minutes here, you can see one thing that I do tend to do is I will constantly go over to where it says under 3.5 goals and click this little graph next to it. What that does is it opens up this graph for you, which tells you the price that it has been over the course of the game, or even before the game started. It just gives you the history of the price. So as you can see, it's already dropped down to 1.31, meaning we are making some profit. We are only doing this with £10, so we're only expecting to make at most £1 out there today. But as you can see, it has had a fairly steady drop down, But with these spikes, that tells you that there has been quite a bit of action in the game. If there was no action and it was looking like there was going to be no goals, it would just be a kind of straight diagonal line going down in terms of price. But when there's these spikes like this, that's the first indication to you that you should probably cash out the profit you've got now. Even if it's just a minimal profit, probably cash out, because it looks as though the teams are both going for it. So I included this here to show you guys that if I was doing this personally and doing this to make the profit, at this point I would have cashed out. If we go behind this graph here, you can see that I was up 80%. 8%. I'd made 80 pence. It's the 8th minute. We saw by the graph that there was some spikes in activity. This point, cash out. I would have cashed out at this point if it was not for the video. So I thought to myself, I know this is meaning there's going to be a goal coming. It's not the 10th minute, but there's going to be a goal coming, so you should cash out. But I thought the video I watched teaching me how to do this taught me about the loss retention. So if it does go in, they tell you the method that you can then do to reduce your loss. So I thought to myself, let's wait. Let's see this goal go in and see if we can really reduce that loss down to 10%. So I left it just for a few more minutes because I knew there was going to be a goal going in. But for the initial under 3.5 goal strategy, that is it. You bet before the game, hopefully when the odds are around 1.6 to 2.0. If my odds weren't 1.44 and they were higher up, they were like 1.6, 1.7, which they should have been doing this strategy, then this would now be a 10% profit. So I would have made the 10% and I would have cashed out. So definitely keep in mind that. But for the initial under 3.5 goal strategy, that is all there is to it. Around about this minute of the game, you're going to be out of it. You're going to have cashed out your profit and be done, as long as there was no goals. So that is as simple as that. Put your bet on around about 5, 10, 15 minutes before the game. Just wait for the best odds to come up. Put it on at around 1.6 to 2.0 odds. Put your full stake on from the off. Leave it until there's enough profit for you to want to cash out. Or leave it until the 10th minute and then cash out. It's as simple as that. But if a goal goes in, you need to know this next step. So you can see here, I put in auto cash out for £1 profit. Now, this is one of the mistakes I made, but we're going to get into the mistakes afterwards. So we don't need to worry about that just yet. But you can see here, if I go forward just a few more minutes, the game then got suspended. Literally just a few seconds later, and a goal went in. You can see down in the bottom right here. Well, you probably can't because my face is there. I will have moved my face. There was a goal that had gone in. So you can see straight away there, the profit is now going down to £2.81. Now, what you can do at this point is either completely cash that out, or if you're still confident there's not going to be another goal going in anytime soon, then you can leave that for a little bit and leave it for that loss to go down a little bit so that you don't lose the whole amount of money. But what the most urgent thing is that you need to do when this goal goes in is go to the under 4.5 goal market. You need to go there and place the bet again, as if you've done this whole strategy yet again from the start, but with the under 4.5 goal market. You place the exact same stake you placed before. So what I did was I went over to the under 4.5, I got my odds, and I waited just a few seconds to make sure that they were the highest odds that were going to be. And I kept going back and forth, and then eventually I did check just to make sure, because as you can see there, it did still say 0-0. So I wanted to make sure there was actually a goal. So what you can see is I put the bet on the under 4.5 goals market at 1.3 odds, or roughly around 1.3. So you can see, there we go, we placed the odds there. We placed £10 stake, and then we waited quite a few minutes. It turns out I pressed the pause button on my recording when I pressed the number 0 key. But you can see in the 11th minute there, 1.3 odds. It then went forward to the 22nd minute, still no goals, and you can see the under 4.5 market here, we'd now made 65 pence profit. Now, when you take that into consideration with the other market, the under 3.5 goals market, I left that, and I left that for a few minutes. And I left the under 3.5 goal market, unfortunately I don't have footage of this, but I left that market until we were only making a loss of £1.58. So we were making a loss of £1.58 over there. I cashed that out We then waited over here, and you can see we eventually cashed out for a profit of, I think it goes up to 79 pence in total. But you can see there actually, the under 3.5 goals, we made a loss of £1.58. And then over on the under 4.5 goals, we made a profit of 74 pence. So in total, we made a loss of 89 pence, which is kind of really good for a £10 stake. So the way this works is you're essentially then just redoing your odds again, waiting until you get the 10% on the under 4.5. You'll make a loss of 15 to 20% on the under 3.5, and then hopefully they'll cancel each other out. And you'll make between 5 and 10% loss overall, which is pretty good. The only issue with this strategy is, that wasn't explained in the video I watched, is what happens if another goal goes in. At that point, you can either go up to under 5.5 and keep going and hope to God that another goal doesn't go in, or you can just take the 30-40% loss that you'll have at that point and just accept that as it being lost. I'd probably recommend doing that. You go up as far as the 4.5 goals, so do it one more time. If a goal goes in again before like the 15th minute or something, just cash out. Cash out the money. A 40% loss is still less of a loss than what you get doing some of the other strategies. So I'd just take it like that. But don't keep going. Don't chase your losses. Just take that as the stats clearly didn't match up with what this game was going to be, and take it as a loss. The video what I did watch actually recommended that you hold your stake in the 4.5 goals market until the 45th minute, which I thought isn't true. Because if you've researched this game and researched to see how many goals are going to go in, you'll be researching it for the first 15 minutes of the game. So chances are there could be loads of goals going in after them first 15 minutes. So I would not recommend holding on to it until the 45th minute. I'd say keep hold of it until that cash out reaches a value. So there you can see mine was 74 pence. Cash out until it reaches a value that you're happy with, so that your loss goes down to around 5-10%. But if a goal goes in them first 10 minutes, you will have lost money. Unfortunately, you will have lost money, but doing this method will reduce the amount of money that you've lost. So now is the point where I'm actually going to talk to you guys about the mistakes I made. I made 3 mistakes during this whole process. If I didn't make these 3 mistakes, I would have made a profit. So I'm going to teach you guys how to avoid these mistakes. So initially, the first mistake I made was pretty simple. I said it right from the start. I put on my odds at 1.44, the recommended odds are 1.6 to 2.0. You saw that when it reached close to the 10th minute, we were 80% up. If I'd have done it at 1.6 odds or 1.7 odds, if they were available, then I would have been that 10% profit up, which is what you're aiming for. So I went in at lower odds, and then when I got to probably the maximum profit I should have expected, which was 80 pence, I didn't cash out, which is the first mistake. If you go in at lower odds than recommended, so if you go in lower than 1.6, you should expect a lower profit. Keep that in mind. Don't wait for that 10%. If it looks like there's going to be a goal going in and you've reached 90, 80 pence or 8-9% profit, get out of there if you have gone in at lower odds. So keep that in mind. That was my first mistake. Second mistake, it was getting close to the 10th minute. As you can see here, it was around about the 8th minute, just about to go into the 9th minute. And then, that point, instead of doing this auto cash out, this is the point when I should have just cashed out my profit. It was getting close to the 10th minute. I'd made a decent profit. It was time to cash out. I even said that to you guys. The third mistake, I constantly looked at the graph, but I didn't use the information it gave me. Like I said, with any other graph in this market, for it to be successful, you'll see a gradual decline without any peaks. At that point, you know you're going to be fine. You know there's not going to be any goals, or if there is, it'll be a bit of a shock to the game. So you wanted just a gradual decline down, which we didn't get. We had loads of little peaks. If you get just one small peak, that's fine. But you can see here, we had 1 peak, 2 peaks, 3 peaks, going into a 4th peak within the first 10 minutes. It's not what you want. So at this point again, that's a hint to get out. And I didn't get out at any of them 3 signs that I should have. So that's why I made a loss in this strategy. But I knew that there was going to be a goal coming based on the stats, and I wanted to keep going to make sure that we could really keep the loss down to 10%. I know this one's a bit more bitty, it's got a bit more stuff you have to do with it, but in general it's fairly simple. So just to recap, you want to go for the under 3.5 goal market. You want to make sure that the teams who are playing, there are goals expected, but not in the first 10 to 15 minutes. You want the under 3.5 goal market to be around 1.6 to 2.0. If you go in at less than that in terms of odds, expect a lower return. Your return is going to be around 10% at most. That's the most you should expect if you go in at around the odds. But if it's less than that around the 10th minute, you want to be cashing out. So either wait till the 10th minute or wait till you get a profit you're happy with, but never go beyond that 10th minute. And then that is it for the initial strategy. If a goal goes in them first 10 minutes, what you're going to want to do is probably cash out that loss straight away, go over to the under 4.5 goal market, put on your exact same stake again. So if you did it with £10 first time round, put on £10 on the under 4.5 goal market, wait another 10 minutes, hope another goal hasn't gone in, and then cash that out. And then hopefully that profit from that 4.5 goal market and the loss from your 3.5 goal market will just cancel each other out, or at least reduce it by quite a bit, so that your loss will only be around 10%. It's another strategy that is one win for one loss. So if you win a game and then lose a game, you basically cancel out the profit you've made. So if you win 2 in a row and then lose 1, you're in profit. So as long as you keep that trend up, you should be fine. But that is it for this strategy. It is fairly simple. It is fairly comfortable. It doesn't make you too much. It doesn't lose you too much. But sometimes this is the exact strategy that you will think will suit a game. So if you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to hit that like button. Let me know down in the comments yet again what recommendations for other videos you want coming up. We've got a few more of these football trading videos coming up. So if you're not a fan, don't worry. They're not going to be around for too much longer. We will keep revisiting it though, because I know quite a lot of you guys do like it. But we'll do a few more of these videos with a few more tactics. And then, like I said, from the early on, we will do this for a whole week. I'll choose a game every day of the week. We'll review the game, decide what strategy best fits it, and then we'll see how much profit or loss we can make over the course of a full week. So thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time.